Good evening. Welcome to Daily Politics, your platform for deep dives into politics, policy, and governance. I'm Shafi'u Suleiman. Tonight, Nigeria's battle against hunger takes another hit. In Katsina, 24 farmers were murdered by bandits. A fresh blow to food production in one of the nation's key agricultural hubs. We'll be speaking with architect Kabir Ibrahim, National President of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, on the deepening insecurity threatening the country's food security. Also tonight, we'll spotlight the internal storm shaking the ruling APC to its core. From defections to high-profile resignations, the cracks are widening. Former Governor Nasir Rufai has termed the APC for SDP, declaring the party strayed from its founding values and vowing to stop President Tinubu's re-election bid. Within the presidency, key aides, Ajuri Ngelale, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, and now Dr. Aliyu Audu, have all walked away, citing disillusionment with the government's direction. Is this a party in power or a party in crisis? We'll be joined by Dr. Aliyu Audu, former presidential aide and now convener of the APC Rebirth movement. But before then, the food security matter. Food security, a very essential component of human life. Now, in one fell swoop, 24 farmers, killed in Katsina, precisely in Kankara and, adjoining communities. And this is coming, at a time farming communities in Benue, for instance, are mourning after the deaths of several farmers, around 200 people were said to have been killed by, armed herdsmen. Now, all of this, some will say, put together, has a significant impact on the nation's drive for food security. As president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, tell us, how, you are looking at these issues, especially midway into the farming season.
Well, I thank you immensely for calling me. But the biggest threat to the attainment of food security had always been, and I've said it many times here and every other forum that I was there, is insecurity. Right. Insecurity will prevent farmers from going to the farm to produce optimally. And that will definitely affect the attainment of food sufficiency and even food security. Right. So whatever you have said about Katsina and Benue and the other places, right, the insecurity is devastating and is preventing our farmers from going to the farm to produce food for the increasing number of persons who need it in Nigeria. Therefore, as we are already in an era of a state of emergency on food security, we should also be really, in the true sense of the word, a state of emergency on insecurity. That is to say, everybody in Nigeria, the federal government and subnationals, all our efforts should coalesce to make sure that insecurity is stemmed absolutely. Otherwise, we will forever remain very, very hungry, a very hungry nation. Yeah. So it's not something that we will dismiss as in the news and all that. People talk about it, people die every day and all that. No, you don't lament over that. No, but you do something decisively to make sure that this doesn't continue, because it reverberates, it sends wrong signals to people. People will not even do anything on the farm. They will be with their eyes open waiting for the attackers to come.
Quite unfortunate. I think we have to take a break here to bring in our second guest, talking about Dr. Aliyu Audu, who has made his way to the studio right now. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us on Daily Politics. Just before the break, I started one of the conversations with architect Kabir Ibrahim, and now it's my pleasure to also let you know that Dr. Aliyu Audu the immediate past Senior Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on Public Affairs and now convener of the APC Rebirth Movement, is here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry, I understand you are grieved, and we mourn your loss as well. Yes. Okay, before you came in, Architect was making, some points around the need, to take food security very seriously. Perhaps also the need to put all our hands, to ensure that insecurity is addressed, head on. Let me allow you to make, you to continue along that trajectory.
Yes, we, for many years, we've been grappling with insecurity all over the country. And I have told you that from what we have seen, the greatest threat to the attainment of food security in Nigeria is insecurity. But there are many other factors. Right. But since we are talking of insecurity and things that happened recently,
the killing of 24 farmers.
What we must do is, we must not just lament over this. The federal government and all sub-national governments should work and should coalesce all efforts, and even efforts from us, the citizens, should be put together to fight the insecurity, because it is affecting our livelihood. Right. There is no way you can govern a very hungry people. So all the turbulences you see are because of hunger. And killing people who produce food will make them fear to go in and work assiduously, especially that most of them are working without the requisite tools, because we have very low mechanization. We are not also producing all year round. We are producing only during the rainy season. And we have just started going to the farms now. And in Katsina State, in the area that you're talking about, that is the food basket of Katsina State. Nice. And so many people have just died now. And so the others who would produce the food will be afraid to go. And they will not have abundant food. And right now, at 22.97 inflation, you can say it has come down because it used to be over 30. But there are nations that are protesting because they have inflation of 2%. So if you have inflation, food inflation of 22.97%, general inflation, mind you, is even more than that. Right. And some people who produce food, for instance, will have to sell the food, because no one farmer produces everything that he or she needs. They will produce whatever they can, sell off what is superfluous, use the money that they get to buy other things. But those other things, if there are no food that still have the inflation of over 30%, will also count on them. And the overall effect is, you will have, in fact, almost uncontrollable inflation all over the country. And this is exacerbating it. Because once food becomes scarce, it becomes costlier. Right. And our population is ever increasing. This is 2025. By 2050, our population will double. We must have food to eat now and food to save for the future. Right now, as I'm talking to you, whatever we do today, the lean period of July to October will be very difficult for Nigeria, no matter what you do. No matter what you import, no matter, because at that time, people will just be busy producing. There will not be anything that will be harvested. Right. So it's a very, very difficult situation. Right. So we have to work seriously to make sure that we make inroads into stemming insecurity. Right.
You happen to be, just recently, you've been part of the government, so to speak, and advising the president in on a very critical issue, talking about, public affairs. We are talking about food security and the insecurity that is preventing us from attaining this food security. And then the government at some point, just like Architect has said, declared a state of emergency in agriculture, for instance. But some say, are we really learning? We've seen how quite a number of farmers were hacked, in Zabarmari in Borno at some point. Now quite a number of farming communities have also been displaced in Benue. And just yesterday rather, we're talking about 24 farmers killed in Katsina. Are we really serious in guaranteeing food security in this country, going by the statistics?
Well, it would appear that, I mean, of course, the government is. I doubt, you know, any government would not want to tackle insecurity or tackle food insecurity. I think our problems are, you know, a bit deeper than we like to think.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're looking at this surface, the symptoms,
Right.
and we're trying to address it. I don't think that's going to solve the problem. You know, the problem is the fact that we've lost humanity as a people. We're not honest, you know, and we have injustice everywhere. We have our leaders, you know, in sacred authority, you know, perpetuate injustice as if it is normal.
Okay.
Any society that has made injustice normal lives the way we live. There's no amount of equipment, there's no amount of seriousness that will sort us unless we guarantee justice, starting with the government.
Right. You're talking about the root cause now, beyond, you know, what we are saying on the surface.
Yeah.
The whole issue is revolves around injustice.
That's it.
Right. Okay, I take about, you know, you're actively engaged, you know, with farmers across the country as president of All Farmers Association of Nigeria. And then we've seen what has happened, or what has been happening among, our farming communities. In Katsina, for instance, before now, quite a number of farmers cannot even go to the farms. Some say, you know, there's slight reduction in the security threats, and that's why people are going. And with this happening just recently, how do you think, you know, farmers will be able to go to the farms? You know, certainly they will get scared, and that in a larger picture will now affect the aggregate food production that is expected. So how do you think this, you know, is signal? What signal is this sending across the farming communities in the country?
Look, before this incident, we were thinking that things were improving.
Right.
And you can see some people have even done some arrangements with some of the so-called bandits to, you know, hold fire. These people are coming back. They're saying they want to be integrated into society. They will no longer do this. And then suddenly we have this. But of course, the cause of it, the cause of this is actually poverty. And as he said, also injustice. When anyone feels that he or she is being mistreated in any way, they become almost uncontrollable.
Right.
And if they have the tendency to be violent, they can take on arms and they can kill innocent people, even the people who didn't do that to them.
Right.
I don't want to get into whether this or that has caused this or whatever, but reality, not fairy tale, is that we really have problems all over the country. And those problems will be solved by all of us.
Right.
Government has its place, and everybody else has their own place. Right. You are talking of Katsina State. I come from Faskari.
Okay.
The Ankara, Faskari, and Sabwa are the same federal constituency. I myself, I have a farm that I have not visited in the last 6 years. So it's not news to me. And I've come to the studio to talk about it.
Right.
But what is really happening is, so many of us think that the government alone can do it. For instance, if your relation or even your son is involved in this, you should proactively prevent them from doing it. If they don't, report them to the right authorities, even if it's your son. Because you may have 20 children. One of them is joining this and is making things difficult for everybody, and including these siblings. So you must be able to come out regardless of your concerns. Even if his mother is saying that you shouldn't do that, you should tell the mother that even you will not remain where you are if this thing continues. So if we do that, we report excesses of everyone. be they in government, be them in households, be them everywhere, anywhere, we will reduce this. The fact is that federal government does not own a farm. And farming activities actually are rural activities. They happen in the subnational level.
Right.
And when trouble comes, when there is hunger, there is killing, there is anything, it is from the ward level that it starts. You from your ward, if you can't go out, you can't go to your farm, you can't. The problem is there. The market is small. There is no excess food to even buy where you don't produce everything that you can do. You will have problems. So it will go into the local government. It will go into the state. And we're here in Abuja. You know, we are always talking of the cost of even transporting food to this place where it will be sold. To Lagos, the cost of transportation that is the main thing. We have a subcommittee, a national subcommittee, working on that.
Talking about transporting food that is yet to be produced.
Yes.
Okay, so you're talking about the collaborative efforts and the need for all stakeholders to join hands, and the fact you are re-echoing the fact that also the problem is local and the solution should be found locally.
Of course.
Right. But then some will find it difficult to reconcile this. You're talking about the need, to support the government in dealing with this. But you also mentioned how governments, at some subnational governments, especially in the northern part of the country, are now engaging, the same non-state actors who are involved in this, without recourse, to previous engagements that have failed. Because in Katsina, for instance, quite a number of times, the government engaged these bandits, and yet they are still coming back. And again, looking at the impact of this on food security, do you think kinetic measures alone can address it? Because government seems to be focusing on put on the ground and all of that. How do you think we can just reconcile these issues?
You see, I'm going to have to digress a little. When you had COVID-19,
right,
nobody had seen it. Whatever effort everybody did all over the world was okay. Everybody, we made efforts and all that. Kinetic approach to solving insecurity is a universally accepted norm. But the non-kinetic approach is also very prudent. And especially when you are dealing with your own children, your own people. What you do is to wake them up to the realities and to sustainability.
Right.
Even if you kill everybody, you yourself, you need others to be able to live. The so-called bandits you see, if they prevent everybody from producing food, where will they get food themselves? What I will tell you now, probably you don't know is, there are instances where these bandits even commandeer farms, and the production of the farmers goes directly to them as recipe for what is happening. So the issue
there are
of
instances
food,
where they even engage the farmers and then compel them to farm for them.
and this is balderdash. This is neither here nor there, because can the people really produce enough for them? The people they commandeer in the locality, can they do it? It will take the effort of all others to be able to make food available for all time sustainably. Right. Maybe you take over my farm because I produce maize, and then you say I must give you all that maize. But it's not only maize you eat. What about things that are not grown there and the people cannot produce that too adequately, even for you, your own enclave, your own harem, where you say you are the master, you are the lord, because you are the chief bandit there. So the thing that I want us to all understand is that you should not have any scapegoat. You should not also tolerate people who really give these people the impetus to do what they do. All this banditry and all that you see and kidnapping. There is no one kidnapper that will come in at random and kidnap people just like that, because they don't know what to make.
Collaborators within the community.
People in the communities also collaborate with them.
Right.
There are many instances where people were arrested for selling many of the things and information to these people. So that's why I said it's everybody's problem. Now, government, I will give you this for instance. How many armed people do we have? Talking from the soldiers, that is the military, the civil defense, the police and all that. Put them all together and look at the vast area of Nigeria that is affected. So all these people need support. Even when you do full-scale war, you need to do the logistics, you need to get information, you need to be able to fixate where and what, and you need to avoid collateral damage. Sometimes you have to correlate having a quantity of it or an amount of collateral damage and all that. But to tell you the truth, the government will create the enabling environment for everybody to come and work together, and that is where justice comes in. That is where I will agree with Dr. Aliu that it is important that there is equity. Once you have inequity, then you cannot predict the behavior of a human being. The sociology of a human being is the human being will do that which they need to do to attain whatever they want to attain. If it is force, they will have to use the force. Sometimes if it's persuasion, they have to really do persuasion. So probably what is happening is that people in the beginning probably were brainwashed to do these things by those of us in politics. We politicize certain issues, and before we know it, those things engulf us all.
You think it's political creation?
No, you know,
like the governor of Benue has said.
No, let me tell you what is happening. You know, I'm over 60 years of age. What is happening is that, and I will tell you, this is empirical. Anybody can say anything, whatever they like. We didn't have this much insecurity before 1999. The thing has been going up from 1999 to date. Before that, it was not as much. So if anybody tells you that politics has not played a role, they are joking. But what we must do is that for politics to be here and to be useful to society, people will have to be held accountable. People will get into position on a merit. Not because probably they have money to give to people to vote, or they have the powers to read, or they have the powers of, they have sweet mouth, they can persuade people and all that, or they can lie to them and all that. No, that you look at the society, these leaders are coming from your society, you should know them, know their antecedents, and then give them responsibility. This is what happens in the first world.
Thank you very much, Architect Kabir Ibrahim. I understand you have another engagement. We have to, allow you to be able to go. Thank you very much for your informed perspective.
Thank you.
Architect Kabir Ibrahim is the President of Farmers Association of Nigeria, and has been giving us his perspective on the rising insecurity, especially the killings of farmers across some farming communities in the country.